You know that feeling? Like there just aren't enough hours in the day, that crushing weight of being totally overwhelmed by information, lecture notes, textbooks, articles, all piling up, demanding your attention, usually late into the night.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling is, well, it's almost universal, isn't it?
It really is. It's that familiar, kind of exhausting, brute force way of studying. We've all been there, right? Staring at a screen, clock ticking, just wishing the knowledge would somehow seep in.
Osmosis learning.
Yes.
If only.
Exactly. But what if? What if there was a completely different way? What if you could actually work with your brain, align with how it naturally learns instead of fighting against it? Imagine mastering something, any skill, any subject, not just faster, but like smarter.
Okay, now you're talking.
Think about it. Learning more effectively, actually retaining it longer, and getting back hours, precious hours. What would you even do with that time?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It highlights that the real edge today, the real currency, is not just having knowledge. It's how fast, how effectively you can acquire it, make sense of it, and then crucially use it. Apply it powerfully.
That's such a perfect way to frame it. And it cuts straight to the heart of something we found, something truly transformative. For us, this deep dive, it's not just about looking at some data, it's more personal. We're sharing a journey, really, a powerful experience that genuinely inspired us. And honestly, we're just so excited for you to explore it with us.
Exactly. We're talking about the incredible insights we've been soaking up from the Awaken Your Potential YouTube channel. And this channel, it's more than just videos. It feels like a living space, just brimming with wisdom. It's really designed to guide people toward actual personal breakthroughs. They consistently offer practical tools, they foster these really inspiring discussions, and the content is always focused on growth. Things like mindfulness, self-growth, resilience, personal development.
Yeah, it's holistic.
Totally. It's like this dedicated space for unlocking what's inside you, pushing past those limits you think you have, and embracing real, meaningful change in every part of life, really.
Absolutely. And that deep, authentic mission, that's exactly what pulled us into their latest video. It's called Study 3X Faster Build Your Efficient Learning System, Part 4. And let me tell you, this isn't something you just put on in the background. It's the kind of video that makes you, lean right in, grab a pen, because you feel this immediate connection. You just know there's power in what they're sharing.
That's a great description. It really resonates.
So our mission today, what we really want to do is unpack the incredible insights from that specific video. We want to break down its core wisdom and kind of reflect together on how each of us, how you can become not just a student, but a real architect of your own understanding. We genuinely want to inspire you to join this journey with us, to study smarter, get your time back, and honestly unlock your absolute fullest potential.
And it goes so far beyond just, getting better grades or passing some test. This is about a really profound, fundamental shift in your whole approach to learning. And that shift, it creates this amazing ripple effect. It frees up valuable time, sure, but also mental energy for all the other things that enrich life. New hobbies, time with people you care about.
Or just space to breathe.
Exactly. Just having more space.
Okay, so let's really dig into the core of it. What makes this approach feel so revolutionary? The big idea, the philosophy that just absolutely leaped out at me from that Awaken Your Potential video was this complete redefinition of learning efficiency. For so long, I think many of us, and yeah, I definitely include myself here, we see studying as this chore, right?
Unavoidable.
Yeah, something you just have to power through. Grit your teeth, long hours, sheer willpower. But the video just completely flips that script. It offers this incredibly eye-opening idea. Studying can be, and maybe should be, a dynamic, collaborative process. With no brain.
Collaboration. I love that framing.
It transforms you, from just passively receiving information to actively architecting your understanding. You're building knowledge intentionally, brick by brick.
And what's so fascinating there is exactly that shift in perspective you mentioned. It moves you away from that, frankly, exhausting idea of just working harder, more hours, burning the midnight oil.
Yeah.
It's often just not effective.
Totally ineffective sometimes.
Right. It moves you towards working smarter, really optimizing every single minute you dedicate to learning, making each moment count for more, leveraging your efforts strategically. And just think about the implications of that. When you learn how to learn efficiently, it's not about becoming some kind of, emotionless robot just gobbling up facts.
Right.
Quite the opposite. It leads to this incredible sense of freedom. Freedom to explore new things, maybe things you never thought you had time for. Freedom to grow in unexpected ways. And fundamentally, freedom to just enjoy life more fully because you're getting back your most precious resource, your time.
It's about creating space.
Exactly. Creating space, not just filling it endlessly.
And what I found so compelling, so encouraging, is that the video doesn't just present this as some like far off dream.
Mhm.
It grounds this efficiency in reality. It meticulously shows that it's totally achievable. How? By adopting a strategic, well-designed system. And this video, since it's the final part 4 of their series, it does this masterful job of assembling all the techniques they've talked about before into a practical, step-by-step system you could literally start using today. It's not just theory, it's a blueprint, ready to go.
And that practicality, that actionability, that's exactly what resonates so deeply with Awaken Your Potential's whole mission, right?
Yeah.
And the quality of their content consistently. They don't just give you feel-good inspiration. They consistently provide these concrete blueprints for real measurable change. It's never just, oh, think positively. No, they offer tangible techniques, things you can do to embrace change, cultivate that growth mindset, build habits that actually serve you.
Habits that's
Yes. Their goal seems to be for you to actually experience these changes in your daily life, to see the impact, and this learning system. It's just a perfect example of that commitment to practical, meaningful growth.
okay. So moving beyond that core philosophy of redefining learning, the video then dives deep into what I started thinking of as the foundational pillars of effective learning. They use this brilliant analogy comparing them to parts of a high-performance engine.
I like that.
And the beauty is they don't just throw random tips at you. They explain carefully that these pillars are all grounded in solid cognitive science, which means they're built on understanding how our brains actually learn best, how we retain information most effectively. What I really loved personally was how skillfully they broke down these concepts, which can be complex, let's be honest, into such clear, actionable steps. Super accessible.
It's true. They have this knack for simplifying without dumbing it down,
Mhm.
which is so crucial for real understanding. And that engine parts analogy, it really underscores that these pillars aren't just standalone things. They need to be assembled correctly, maintained, fueled properly to really maximize your learning output,
Yeah.
like a finely tuned machine.
Exactly.
It's a great way to think about how our minds work best when we give them the right inputs, the right processes, the right conditions for learning to actually happen.
So the first big pillar they talk about is active engagement. Now, this is a radical shift from what many of us think of as studying. It's not just sitting passively, maybe highlighting a chapter or letting a lecture just kind of wash over you while your mind wanders off.
We've all done that.
Oh, definitely. The video really emphasizes that you need to actively ask questions as you take in new information, critically. You need to consciously connect new ideas to what you already know, build those mental bridges, and maybe most importantly, interact deeply with the material, intentionally, relentlessly. It's a total shift from being a consumer to being a creator of understanding.
It's a really sharp observation. It is precisely about moving from passive reception to active construction. When you engage actively, you're not just like recognizing words on a page. You're forcing your brain to process that information way, way more deeply. You're wrestling with the concepts, maybe challenging assumptions, making these intricate links between different ideas. And through that effort, that struggle, you're cementing real comprehension, this deep processing. It lays down much stronger, more durable neural pathways. Think of them like highways for information, passive learning. That builds little dirt tracks that get overgrown fast, hard to find later.
Huh. Good analogy.
But active engagement, that builds wide paved superhighways. The information is more durable, easier to access, quicker to retrieve when you need it. It's the difference between just skimming the surface and truly getting the underlying structure. Like instead of just reading a history chapter, you'd actively ask, okay, why did this happen right then? How does this link to the last chapter? What were the different viewpoints?
Yeah.
That's active engagement.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, building on that, the second pillar they spotlight is efficient practice. And this isn't just do more practice problems, which, let's be honest, is often our default.
Right, just grind it out.
Yeah. The advice here is really insightful. They emphasize focusing on deliberate, varied practice. So actively targeting your specific weak spots, the stuff you consistently get wrong or feel shaky on, and then mixing up the types of problems you tackle rather than just doing the same kind over and over until you've memorized the steps by rote. It's strategic repetition, not just mindless repetition.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, this kind of deliberate practice, it's not just about memorizing facts or getting the right answer once. It's about building true mastery. real adaptability. It's the critical difference between knowing what to do in one specific situation and having the deep understanding, the agility, to apply that knowledge effectively in different, new, maybe even unpredictable situations.
Like real-world application.
Exactly. Think about an athlete. They don't just practice the exact same shot over and over from the same spot. They target weaknesses. They practice under different conditions. They constantly push just slightly beyond what's comfortable. Deliberate practice, as the video outlines so well, it pushes you just enough beyond your current level to actually stimulate growth. This makes your learning robust, flexible, transferable. Crucial for the real world, not just exams. For instance, learning a language. Don't just drill vocab lists. Try using the words in different sentences. Listen to native speakers in varied contexts. Try speaking yourself. That's efficient, deliberate practice.
Okay, and then the third pillar, which honestly I found incredibly powerful, almost life-changing, is active recall and strategic note-taking. This is where they really hammer home the idea of testing yourself from memory. The technique they recommend sounds so simple, but it's profound. After you study something, close the book, put away your notes, and without looking at anything, try to summarize the key ideas in your own words. Maybe say it out loud like you're teaching someone, or just jot it down on a blank page.
Active recall.
Yeah.
It's arguably the single most powerful learning strategy we know of, backed by tons of cognitive science research. And the Awaken Your Potential video highlights it beautifully. The core idea is this. Every time you successfully pull information out of your memory, even if it feels really hard, you are actively strengthening that memory trace.
Like lifting weights for your brain.
Exactly like that. The more you challenge it to recall, the stronger that connection becomes. More resilient. It makes the info much easier and faster to recall later, maybe under pressure, maybe in a different context. Compare that to just rereading. That gives you this false sense of familiarity. Oh yeah, I know this. But it doesn't actually test or strengthen your ability to retrieve it.
That's a huge distinction.
It is. And alongside active recall comes strategic note-taking, which again isn't about mindlessly copying stuff down. It's a dynamic process. It's about synthesizing information and demonstrating your own understanding. Whether you use mind maps or flashcards or write concise summaries in your own words, the goal is the same. Process it, distill the essence, represent it in a way that makes sense to you, that reinforces the learning in a really personalized, durable way. Like after reading about, say, photosynthesis, don't just list the steps. Try drawing a diagram from memory, then check it, refine it, or explain it out loud. That active effort, way more effective than just reviewing.
Right, so we have these high-performance engine parts: active engagement, efficient practice, active recall. But the video makes this absolutely critical point, one that I think often gets missed. The best strategies. They're useless without the right fuel and the right engine. And here's where it got really interesting for me, truly shifted my view. They called time and focus the fuel and engine of your entire learning system.
Such a perfect analogy, isn't it? Undeniable. Immediately clicks.
Totally.
And these aren't just, minor tweaks, optional extras for your study routine. They're essential, foundational shifts, how you structure your environment, how you cultivate your habits. Without them, like the video says so clearly, your learning system, well, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Best engine parts, no fuel, no power. You're stuck.
It's going nowhere fast.
Right. And this brings up a really important question for all of us to think about personally. How often do we kind of overlook these absolute fundamentals in our rush to get knowledge? We assume just putting in more hours or trying some new fancy technique will somehow make up for a lack of real, uninterrupted focus or dedicated, protected time.
Yeah, we focus on the what, the methods, the facts, but not enough on the when, and crucially, the how focus.
Exactly. We obsess over the what's, but neglect the when and the how focused.
So let's talk about mastering time first. The video goes deep on the concept of deep work. This isn't just clocking in at your desk. It's about intentionally, rigorously protecting blocks of time, uninterrupted blocks, solely for deep work, which means zero distractions, just you, material, fully immersed. It's a conscious choice to build an environment and a mental state where high-quality learning can actually happen without interference, like a mental sanctuary for concentration.
And the practical implications of actually embracing deep work, they're profound.
Yeah.
And they can feel kind of counterintuitive in our hyper-connected world. It really demands you be proactive with your calendar, your schedule, like consciously scheduling non-negotiable learning slots, and then treating those slots with the same importance, the same respect as a critical meeting or appointment.
Yeah, like they're sacred.
They should be. It means setting firm boundaries, not just with emails and notifications, but with yourself too. Those internal urges to just quickly check something, this dedicated, protected time, that's where the breakthroughs happen, where you can really dive into complex stuff, make connections, solve hard problems without your attention being constantly fragmented,
That's right.
where your brain can actually synthesize and solidify information, leads to much better retention and understanding.
And then mastering focus, which they linked directly to debunking that huge myth of multitasking.
Yeah.
This was a real aha moment for me. Seriously eye-opening. We're constantly told we should multitask, or we feel this pressure to do it, thinking it makes us more productive.
Mm-hmm. The productivity illusion?
Exactly. But the video states it unequivocally, backed by research. Multitasking, especially with demanding tasks, it's a myth. Your brain just cannot effectively focus on two demanding things at once. Every single time you switch textbook to email, lecture to social media, you pay a price, a cognitive penalty. Like stopping or restarting a complicated machine over and over.
Degrains you.
It totally does. I found it absolutely staggering when they discussed how 1 hour of distracted, fragmented study, it's actually less effective, maybe way less effective, than just 30 minutes of deep, uninterrupted focus.
Wow. That really puts the cost of context switching into perspective, doesn't it? The cost most of us pay all day without even realizing. And the video doesn't just debunk the myth. It gives you concrete strategies to win this war for your attention, which is maybe the most crucial battle for learning. Things like systematically creating a distraction-free study sanctuary. Maybe that means phone in another room, using website blockers, noise-canceling headphones.
Whatever works for you.
Right. And crucially, communicating your need for uninterrupted time to others. Setting expectations with family, roommates. They also strongly push for strict time blocking. Literally schedule specific tasks for specific times and then commit rigorously to doing nothing else during those blocks. This protects your focus, reduces decision fatigue, channels your mental energy exactly where it needs to go. The core message is crystal clear. Embrace single tasking. Commit to it. Achieve deep work. Guard your attention fiercely. It is your most valuable asset, like the video says.
When you do that consistently, learning becomes not just faster, but
Well,
more
let me say-
rewarding too, more satisfying.
Absolutely. Deeper satisfaction.
Okay, so this understanding of how we learn, plus the vital roles of time and focus, it leads straight to another key element, charting your course. Having direction. The video uses this wonderful analogy. A study session without a clear goal. It's like setting off on a road trip with zero destination in mind.
Yeah. You'll burn gas, but you won't get anywhere specific.
Exactly. You might drive around, use up time and energy, but you won't achieve anything tangible. They made such a powerful point about the non-negotiable need to set specific, measurable, and realistic goals before every single study session.
It sounds so simple, but it's incredibly impactful, and it taps right into the psychology of managing tasks effectively. Think about the immediate effect. Instead of this huge, vague cloud like study biology, you broke it down. Something manageable, actionable. Read pages 45 to 50 and explain mitosis in my own words. Instantly less daunting.
Right, you know exactly what done looks like.
Precisely. This process of breaking big tasks into small, clear, achievable steps. It doesn't just make hard subjects feel less overwhelming. It builds incredible momentum. Each little win, each goal ticked off, fuels the next one. It creates this positive loop that cuts down the overwhelm and replaces it with a feeling of steady progress.
And it probably feels good, too. It's the reward system.
Absolutely. Makes learning feel like a series of milestones, not just an endless climb.
And to make goal setting even easier, they shared this super simple but really effective trick. The 2-minute priming trick. Before you even start studying, just take 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes, to write down your specific goal for that session.
And the benefit of that tiny act, it's huge. It's all about how our brains initiate and sustain focus. Taking those 2 minutes to explicitly state your goal, it actively primes your brain for the task, creates a clear mental target, it sharpens your focus, directs your cognitive resources where they need to go. By defining the objective, your brain gets better at filtering out distractions because it knows exactly what it's looking for, what's relevant to the mission.
It sets the stage.
Perfectly put. Clear, predefined goals are the essential first step. They provide direction, intention, purpose. Before you even start the deep work, sets the stage for efficient learning.
Okay, so you've embraced the new philosophy, you get the importance of time and focus, you're setting clear goals. But how do you know if it's actually working? How do you measure your progress, make sure you're on the right track? That brings us to the next vital point from the video, measuring your journey. They really stress that old saying, what gets measured gets managed. And they highlight how transformative tracking your learning can be. One idea that really stuck with me was, tracking isn't a chore, it's your personal scoreboard. your progress dashboard.
It absolutely reframes it, doesn't it? From a tedious task to a powerful tool for self-awareness and improvement. The video suggests keeping a really simple log after each session. Straightforward. Just jot down the date, the topic you covered, exactly how long you managed to focus without interruption, and then crucially, a quick honest reflection. Like, how focused were you really? Scale of 1 to 10. What specific parts felt challenging? What new things did you actually learn or understand in that session?
That reflection part feels key.
It really is. This small, consistent habit, it reveals incredible patterns over time. You might discover, hey, I'm way sharper in the mornings, or, that technique I've been using, it's not really delivering. Your log becomes this invaluable, personalized record of your growth. Keeps you honest, keeps you motivated seeing the progress, keeps you accountable to your goals. And when progress feels slow, which it sometimes does, you can literally look back at that log and see, black and white, how far you've actually come.
Yeah.
The knowledge gained, skills honed.
That's powerful. A tangible record.
It connects you to the bigger picture. Small, consistent, intentional tracking leads to huge improvements over time. It lets you refine your strategy, adapt, stay on course, like having a personal coach analyzing your data.
Okay, and now, let's pull all these powerful pieces together. How does it work in practice, day to day? The Awaken Your Potential video culminates by giving us this remarkably effective blueprint, a practical framework, the 5-step daily study cycle. It's designed as a compact, super efficient 30 to 40-minute cycle, meant for daily use, and it brilliantly integrates everything we've talked about: engagement, recall, focus for maximum retention, and real understanding. Okay, let's unpack this blueprint. This is where the rubber meets the road.
This cycle really is the payoff, isn't it? The culmination of all those principles designed to be intensely practical, repeatable, and incredibly effective. It's the daily ritual that turns theory into results.
Okay, step 1, preview. This is super short, just 2 minutes. Before you dive into the dense stuff, take 2 minutes to strategically skim. Look at headings, bold terms, summaries, maybe even the questions at the end of the chapter. The goal here is just to build a quick mental map, a kind of scaffolding for what's coming. It primes your brain, helps it categorize information better when you actually read it.
Think of it like looking at the puzzle box picture before you start sorting the pieces. It's not about understanding it, just creating hooks for your brain. Our brains love patterns, frameworks. This preview gives it that, reducing the cognitive load later. It helps activate any prior knowledge you might have, making the next step much more efficient.
Makes sense. Okay, then step 2, focused study. This is the main chunk, about 25 minutes. Set a timer. And during this time, you engage actively. Remember, active engagement. This is where you do it. Ask questions, connect concepts, make notes, whatever works. And crucially, 0 distractions. Phone away, notifications off, unnecessary tabs closed. This is your sacred deep work zone, fully immersed.
This is where the heavy lifting happens. That concentrated, uninterrupted effort that yields the real lasting results. In these 25 minutes, you're not just reading, you're wrestling with ideas, challenging yourself, forming those deep connections, being fully present with the material. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back. The timer helps enforce that discipline, creates a little urgency, protects your attention.
Okay, after that intense 25 minutes, you immediately shift to step 3. Self-test. Quick, but super powerful. 5 minutes, no notes, no book. Challenge yourself. Summarize the key ideas you just studied. Say it out loud. Explain it to the wall. Write down everything you recall on a blank page. This is that critical active recall step. Forces retrieval, strengthens memory, highlights the gaps.
This step is absolutely non-negotiable for long-term retention. And it's not about perfection. It's about the effort to retrieve. That very act of trying to recall, even if you struggle, that's what cements the learning. The struggle is effective learning, not a sign of failure. It shows you exactly what you know, and crucially, what you don't yet know, sets you up perfectly for the final step.
Which is step 4, gap filling. 5 to 8 minutes for this. Now you go back to the material notes, book, slides. Specifically look for anything you missed or got wrong in the self-test. This is also the perfect time to create those strategic notes we talked about. Not copying, synthesizing. A summary, a mind map, flashcards for tricky bits. You're actively refining your understanding, fixing weak spots, creating review tools.
What's so brilliant about this whole cycle, the original video actually has 5 steps, with the 5th being a quick review of the system itself for consistency, is how each step builds on the last. It systematically turns passive study into deep, effective, durable learning. And you can stack these cycles, right? Do 2 or 3 for a longer session, but keep the structure. Active engagement, recall, quality over just quantity. The key, as Awaken Your Potential emphasizes so strongly, is consistency. Doing this daily, even just one cycle, which raises that important question for you listening right now. How can you adapt this powerful system? Make it fit your learning style, your subjects, your schedule, while keeping its core power. How do you make this blueprint yours?
Now, if you're listening to all this, maybe feeling a bit skeptical, thinking, okay, this sounds maybe too good to be true, or like some kind of magic shortcut, the Awaken Your Potential video actually addresses that directly. This isn't a flimsy shortcut, it's not magic, it doesn't bypass effort, quite the opposite. This system works because it's built on how your brain genuinely learns. It leverages cognitive science with your brain, not against it. They made such a powerful point. It's not about putting in more hours, it's about making every single hour, every minute, count through smarter, more intentional effort.
That's such a crucial distinction.
Sure.
It can completely redefine your relationship with learning. And honestly, the process might even feel harder sometimes, especially that active recall part. But that's what they call productive struggle. It's not a sign you're failing. It's your brain actively building stronger, more robust connections. Think of it like muscle soreness. After a good workout, it means growth is happening.
Right. It's working.
Exactly. You're not avoiding work. You're making every minute count by doing the most effective kind of work. The brain-friendly kind. The core message is profound. Shift your mindset. Value effective learning, deep understanding, not just hours clocked. Using this system consistently. It leads to true mastery, not just cramming for a test. It's replacing brute force, which leads to burnout with intelligent strategy. For lasting results and, frankly, a more enjoyable journey.
So what does all this mean for you? Right here, right now. The Awaken Voice. Your potential video ends with this really powerful, motivating thought. A necessary reminder, maybe. We have the blueprint now. We have the tools. We understand the science. And this is the crucial bit, knowledge without action. It's just potential. Sitting there, like having this amazing machine, perfectly engineered, just sitting idle, waiting to be turned on.
Potential waiting to be activated.
They give this direct, compelling invitation. Take the plunge. Take action. Don't wait for the perfect time. Just pick one thing, one subject, one skill you're working on, and commit. Try this 5-step cycle for just 1 week. Really give it a go. Track your progress, like we discussed. Notice the difference it starts making in retention, confidence, maybe even enjoyment. Adapt it. Make it your own. And hey, for extra accountability, tell a friend your plan. Share it.
That's where the real transformation happens, where it solidifies. Real change, as the video hammers home, doesn't come from huge, overwhelming gestures or reading one more article. It comes from consistent, smarter, intentional effort, day after day. By actively choosing to work with your brain, understanding how it works best, you don't just become a more capable, efficient learner. You become a more confident learner.
Yeah.
You trust your process. You genuinely get your time back, freeing it up for things that nourish you. And you unlock potential in ways you might not have even imagined. The path to working smarter, to mastering what you want to learn, it's clear now, step by step. It's your turn to pick up the tools and start building.
And as we start to wrap up this deep dive, we really want to circle back just with huge gratitude and real enthusiasm to the incredible Awaken Your Potential YouTube channel. It really is this trusted space, just a source of wisdom and deep transformation, consistently guiding people towards breakthroughs, offering practical paths. We've honestly only scratched the surface today of the incredible detail in their full video, Study 3X Faster Build Your Efficient Learning System, Part 4. We just can't recommend it enough. We strongly, strongly encourage you, go watch it, get the deeper, visual, immersive experience. It brings all this to life.
You can find that video and honestly a whole treasure trove of other amazing content at youtube.com at Awaken Your Potential Now. That's youtube.com at Awaken Your Potential Now. And we'd absolutely love for you to not just watch, but engage. Comment on their video or comment here with us. Share your journey, your learning habits. What stood out to you from this discussion? How do you plan to use these strategies? Let's build a real community around this shared goal of learning better and growing personally. Your insights help us all.
Yes, please do. And don't miss our next deep dive or any of the fantastic content in the Awaken Your Potential series. Definitely subscribe to their channel. Stay connected for all their future growth steps and insights. You can also check out their curated podcast playlist. That's at youtube.com/playlist.list. PLYDPES, VAPOJ95HEXX, VW7ETHS-BETA-WPV-VE-YE for even more in-depth content to keep you inspired.
So as you think about this, reclaiming your time, sharpening your focus, unlocking your potential, here's a final thought for you to chew on. A provocative question, maybe?
Yeah.
What's one small, specific step you'll commit to taking today? Maybe it's just 2 minutes of goal priming, maybe 5 minutes of active recall after reading something.
Hmm.
What's that one small step to decisively shift from brute force to intelligent strategy in your own learning?
And building on that, how might that single step, maybe seemingly small, ripple outwards? How might it fundamentally impact not just your studies or your work, but your whole life? Granting you back that freedom, that mental clarity, that potential to genuinely explore, to grow without limits, and to truly enjoy every moment.